my mom was like, hey, there's a church camp coming up. I know you haven't been to church in years. And I was like, I'm sure you heard the story. I'm like, screw this. I don't want to
I love
go.
it.
Yeah. I was like, she's like, well, someone paid. And I'm like, I don't care. Get their money back. And she's like, what? You're going to do them dirty like this? And I was like, all right, whatever. I'll go. I'll check it out. Go see some childhood friends I haven't seen in years, whatever. And I was like, man, I'll probably bring some weed and just like, sneak off in the woods and smoke. But I show up there and I see some good friends, I haven't seen in a while, friends I grew up with. And one night, dude, they were doing like a church service, and I was like, all right, I'm going to sit in the back row, just kind of, chill and kick it. And they're going to do their thing and I'll just watch. And this guy, he's from Oklahoma. He's like a youth pastor. And he's like, hey, I want this whole section to come up front. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to be the weirdo just sitting in this whole row of like, 50 to 100 people sitting there by myself. So I go up and I'm like, kind of like, still in the back. Like, I don't want nothing like this. I don't, I know how this goes. I grew up, I was raised here. It's just another churchy thing, religious thing. And he points me out and he's like, hey, bro, like God, God has a word for you. This is prophecy. God spoke to me about you. And I'm like, bro, you don't even know me. You're from across the U.S. Who are you, trying to say that this,
Right.
this God has a word for me. And he's like, hey, I see you're wearing a shirt, and I was in MMA doing, kickboxing and jiu-jitsu, doing, like fights and stuff. And it said last stand, all or nothing. And this is what we're talking about, bro, being all in this way or all in this way. And he's like, hey, it's time to give it all or nothing. And at the time, I was using dope, I was smoking, I was drinking, I was selling. And he's like, God, this is your last stand. And like, it was such an urgency, bro. It was such, you know what I mean? Like, I got goosebumps talking about it.
I feel you, bro.
Like, there was an urgency. There was like now is the time. And like what we said, bro, I was on the road to like death or just being so burnt out in my brain where, as just having that brain damage and stuff. And he was like, it's your last stand, all or nothing, bro. And I can't, this day changed my life forever, bro. And I can't explain it in words, really. I'll try the best that I can, but it was like a fresh wind, bro, in a sense, and like an awakening. Like, I felt clear. And he began to just pray. And like, he was praying for things to be like off my life, like addiction and pain and guilt and shame and all these things, bro. And I was like, whew, like, dude, it felt like almost like someone wringing out a sponge with like dirty water, and like just feeling fresh, like all that crap was out. And like, dude, it was an intense, like life-changing experience. And it's all God, like all glory to God. And after that day, bro, I was just like, man, I am never going back. Like,